Chad, stick around for a second. I want you to join in this conversation. A blizzard experts joining us here in the Situation Room right now from the National Weather Service. Right now, he's the Assistant Administrator, Louis Uccellini, but he's about to become the Director of the National Weather Service. Louis, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Give us some comparison. You've studied blizzards, 78 in Boston, 77 in Buffalo. How bad is this one?
This storm has the potential to be a very dangerous storm, and given the amount of snowfall that we expect to fall with it over its history, especially up in New England, it will certainly rank in the top 10, perhaps even the top 5 storms for that area.
Ever?
Ever.
In the, since they started keeping these records?
Since the late 1880s.
So where should when you say New England, that's a big area, where do you think it's going to be the worst?
Yeah, the heaviest snow will be from eastern Connecticut through Rhode Island up towards Boston into southwestern Maine. Clearly, as the storm, which is now rapidly developing off the East Coast, wraps up southeast of New England, it will pull the snow back in and really will funnel the heaviest snowfall into that area. And whether we get thunder snow or not, we expect these bands to form, and within those bands we will be seeing 2 to 3 inches per hour. 2
to 3 inches an hour, and then we're talking about a wind gust, which will be pretty significant.
Yes, so this is what makes the storm particularly dangerous. As the low develops and as it intensifies, we're going to have very strong winds. We're predicting wind gusts along the coast to be approaching hurricane force winds. So obviously you mix those strong winds with the heavy snow, and you're going to get whiteout conditions in a large area, we believe, in the same area where they're going to get the heavy snow.
I want Chad Myers to join in this conversation. Sure. Chad, I know you have a question for Louis Uccellini.
Yes, sir. It was proven again by this storm 4.5 days ago that the European model had it right on the money, and our American models were going left and right. What will you do as the director to make our forecasts as good as what they're putting out?
Okay, well, 2 points. One, you're right, the European Center model was the first model to lock into the track of this storm and keep it closer to the coast. I should emphasize that the forecasters who are making the forecast for these storms 5, 6, 7 days in advance are using what we call an ensemble mix of all of these models, and they don't just rely on one model, but it is clear that that model had the headway on this one. We already have plans on transferring our models to a brand new supercomputer, the IBM Dataplex. That will allow us to start running our models at higher resolution and our data assimilation systems at higher resolution, and we know that this is a main issue with our models compared to the European Center. But even with this new computer, we will not be up to the resolution that they run their models.
Have you seen some major changes in the past few hours as far as the movement of this storm, or storms as we probably should call it?
Well, actually, the storm is following a track in the development that we predicted a number of days ago, as Chad pointed to. And it's developing according to script. It's going through a very intense phase, developing phase now. We expect it to be turning slightly to the right to put it in a position just off the southeast New England coast, which is a very dangerous spot for New England. Very heavy snowfalls, very strong winds. The other thing I like to note is that the waves immediately along the coast could be...
The surge?
No, the waves themselves could be approaching 15 to 20 feet along the coast, and just off the coast we're predicting wave heights greater than 30 feet. So nobody wants to be out in this water with this storm.
I hope so. Chad, you have another question?
I have more of a statement. I just want to say how thankful the meteorologist community in America is that you are now our new director. Such a distinguished career at NCEP. We are happy to have you, and congratulations. A well-deserved promotion.
Thank you very much, Chad.
And you're going to stay with us because we have more questions, and especially some practical questions about the dangers out there. A lot of people forget in '78 in that Boston blizzard, how many people died?
Over 100.
Yeah,
yep,
so there's a lot of risk out there. This is very dangerous, and Mr. Uccellini is going to stay with us and give us some advice. Chad's going to be staying with us as well. Don't forget, you can track every minute of the storm on CNN.com/weather. Go there. See, look at a live picture from New York City's Columbus Circle, right outside Time Warner headquarters in New York City. Not much traffic, as you can see. People are hopefully inside, because it's only going to get worse in the next few hours in New York and Boston and Connecticut, Rhode Island, elsewhere in the Northeast. The National Weather Service is bringing in top experts in winter storms. Louis Uccellini is about to become the new director of the National Weather Service. Once again, he is here. He gets sworn in Sunday morning. What time, Louis, for that? I guess
it starts early in the morning.
Yeah, you'll be busy all weekend talking about this. They've just declared a state of emergency, the Governor Andrew Cuomo in New York. What exactly does that mean as far as the National Weather Service is concerned?
Well, we provide the forecast to the emergency management community from the federal through the state to the local levels through our various forecast offices, and we provide them the weather information. They make the decisions, all the decisions, on the steps that need to be taken before, during, and after the storm.
We just heard from Lincoln Chafee, the governor of Rhode Island, saying this blizzard is different than the one in '78, because in '78 he said they didn't really get much of a warning, and this one they've had days to prepare. You agree with that assessment?
Well, in 1978, actually the storm in '78, we made a fairly good forecast on it, but we had a number of forecast busts beforehand, so people didn't really heed the forecast very well, and the snow came in late. Came in later than what was expected. So people went out to work, and then it started snowing, everybody got trapped. In this case, we've had a very consistent forecast from 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day in advance. So with that confidence level building up and a very consistent message that's provided through all our forecast offices working with the emergency management community, they've reacted accordingly.
And you say this upcoming blizzard, the one that's beginning right now, will compare to the one in '78. As you point out, more than 100 people were killed.
Well, in terms of the amount of snowfall in New England, the strong winds, the very strong winds, we're predicting that the wind gusts along the coast could approach hurricane force winds. We'll have a very similar situation that we had in '78. 2 to 3 feet of snow is possible from Connecticut up through eastern Massachusetts into southwest Maine. So this is going to be a very dangerous storm, and in that regard, the fact that people are heeding the advice of their governors, mayors, local officials, and are staying indoors, and they're getting the cars off the street before the main front of the storm really hits, is exactly what you need to not only prepare for the storm, but then adjust and recover afterwards.
Of the 100 people who died in '78, what was the cause of most of those deaths?
Oh, there's a number of, you have people trapped in their cars, exposure, you have deaths related to removing snow. There was people really had put themselves at risk by going out immediately before that storm.
So the most important advice you have for viewers watching in the Northeast right now is?
Heed the advice of the public officials. They don't do this all the time, and when they do this, they mean it, and they're doing it to save your life. So it's best to stay off the roads, and it also allows them to recover a lot faster after the storm and get you back into your normal life.
So when a governor or a mayor says you can't drive, if you're seen on the road, if you're not in an emergency vehicle, you're going to jail. That's pretty good advice.
Well, they have their ways of enforcing their what they want.
It's for the good of those own people.
That's right.
Yeah.
They really want people off the streets because the main brunt of the storm is just coming in now, and we're going to see a rapid increase in snowfall rates from Long Island all the way up into southeast New England, and the winds are going to pick up. It's going to be very dangerous, and very dangerous right along the coast. With the strong waves, we've got potential surge of 2 to 4 feet in areas, so there could be some coastal flooding. So people really have to pay attention.
Good advice from Louis Uccellini. Good luck with your new job starting Sunday morning.
Right, thank you.
We'll stay in close touch.
Okay, thanks.